My senior year of college, I wandered up to a booth for a company I'd never heard of before and had a conversation that led to an internship, which somehow led to the full-time job I work to this day. 2 years later, I went back to that exact same career fair, but this time as a recruiter for the same company. And I can tell you, not only in the 2 years since then has the engineering, specifically computer science job market changed a ton, but also in general, the experience of going to one of these things as a recruiter for a company versus being a student is a totally different experience. I don't feel like it's shared between sides a lot. And so in this video, I want to talk about some of the things I learned so that the next time you have the misfortune of going to one of these career fairs, you can hopefully make it worth it and land that dream job you're looking for. What's up, guys? I'm the Unhinged Engineer. I make career development content for young professionals like me in aerospace engineering, software engineering, basically anybody trying to build cool stuff. If that's who you are, then this is the channel for you. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get right into the video. So for the first half of the video, I'm basically just going to talk about what the experience of going as a recruiter was like, so that the next time you're talking to one, you can see kind of how the conversation is being perceived from the other side. And then in the second half of the video, I'm going to talk about some of the pitfalls I saw kids take over and over and over again that were honestly just shooting themselves in the leg before they even started. We'll get into some of the positive stuff, like things you can improve in a later video, but honestly for this one, I just want to rant. So thanks for tuning in. Let's get started. So first of all, your conversation with the recruiter is probably going to be pretty short. And for that short 5 to 10 minute chat, you're going to be so locked in that you lose track of time, right? So it's important to remember that from the recruiter's perspective, the experience of going to a career fair is super long, okay? I was at this career fair for 6 hours, and those 6 hours were almost totally jam-packed with 5 to 10 minute conversations like the one I'd presumably have with you, right? And so I literally spoke to hundreds of students, hundreds of people. And even though I'm an extrovert, if you asked me to talk to 100 people I've never met before in a row, in a casual setting, that would be pretty tired and a little bit stressful, right? But this is a somewhat awkward and stressful situation of a career fair. And so just going through that many people in that amount of time is crazy exhausting. And I literally remember towards the end of the career fair, I was talking to a student and I could feel myself swaying, wobbling back and forth. It didn't help that there were no chairs, but that just shows you how tired I was. And quick side note here, I hate to say this because you really should talk to as many companies as you can, but my career fair ended at 4. Anybody who talked to me past 3 was at a disadvantage because I was just so exhausted, right? And it would have been better if we had more people or if there were fewer students, it was a little more relaxed. For context, I did go to a big state school, so that probably factors into this, but still, I was just so exhausted by the end of it, and I did nothing the rest of that day. Okay, so 6 hours of pseudo stressful and awkward conversations over and over again can take a toll on the other person. And at the end of the day, you are talking to another person. So it's important to keep that in mind. Speaking of stressful and awkward, one thing I didn't appreciate from only having done a career fair as a student is the wide range of encounters that a recruiter will have, and the fact that distribution is a lot wider for the recruiter than it is for the student, right? And let me just get around to what I'm saying here. Most recruiters, if they're full-time working adults, are gonna come off relatively the same. They're gonna talk about their company, ask you for your resume, ask you routine questions, have a little chit chat back and forth. It's kind of standardized, versus with students, I have to be honest, students were all over the map. Some students were crazy strong candidates, stronger than I was when I got the internship that landed me my job. And it was really impressive. And then other students had no experience, nothing, they were practically out of high school. And those are two very different conversations as a recruiter, as a young person, right? Some people were shy and quiet, and I felt kind of bad, and I would try to pull them out of their shell and have a nice conversation. And others were straight up aggressive, just aggressive towards me, kind of shouting their projects into my ear, So there was a huge wide range of interactions that I had as a recruiter that was much wider than a student would have talking to different recruiters. Does that make sense? And so like I think the main takeaway from this is like, just go up to a recruiter, be friendly, ask him about how their days go. Like, that was so nice. Like, I know it's such a little stupid thing, but when a student would come up to me and be like, how's your day going? And I would say, honestly, I'm exhausted. How are you doing? like that was such a nice intro to the conversation, like acknowledging humanity. That was good. That was a good strategy. So like, go up to somebody, take it slow, be friendly, treat them like a human, and they will really, really appreciate it. Because yeah, there's just a huge range of interactions that I had. And as each student came up to me, I was like bracing for impact. Like, oh God, what's this one gonna be? Right. And so if you kind of take my guard down early, that helps a lot for sure. I would definitely recommend that. And then last point on the recruiter's perspective here, like in my case, and seemingly all the recruiters I worked with, like from my company that day, like we were all rooting for the candidates. Right? First of all, we're there to get people. Like, the goal is to get people. The goal is not to go to a career fair to shit on kids. Like that's not the goal of going there. Like, we want you to be a good fit for the job and to succeed and to have all the necessary experiences that we're looking for. Right? And on top of that, there is nothing that I wanted less than a student to come up to me and just bomb. Like, that was like miserable, and I felt so bad. Like, nobody wanted that. We wanted kids to come up to us, have a good conversation, hopefully be a good fit for the positions we're trying to fill, or at least have a good interaction and explain to them what, our organization is and what we do. Like, at a minimum, people like talking about work, right? And so that's just me, like as an engineer that was helping out with recruitment. But the recruiters, like, it's literally their job to find people and fill those jobs, So they're on your side, like they're not looking to kill you. That was the first half of the video talking about the recruiter's perspective of a career fair, which in case you couldn't tell is very, very different from a student's, okay? But for the second half of this video, I want to talk about some of the pitfalls I just saw kids take like over and over and over again that are super easily avoidable. Number one, I'm going to say here like lack of preparation. And before you assume what I mean by that, I don't mean researching the company. I feel like none of us were pompous enough to assume that everybody would know exactly what we did. Okay, like it was fine if you came up to us and were like, hey, like I've heard of your parent organization, but I don't really know specifically what you guys do. Obviously, they don't know what I specifically do. Like, they never met me. I'm not a celebrity, right? So not having like a clear picture of everything that a company does is okay, right? And it's a lot better than standing awkwardly like 10 feet away from me, frantically Google searching who the hell we are. Like that doesn't help. It doesn't help anybody, you just waste time, okay? What I'm talking about by preparation is like dress presentably. Like I'm wearing a collar shirt, like a collar is nice, just not a hoodie, anything but a hoodie. Like jeans are fine, like jeans and then no tie with the blazer jacket is nice. Shit, like jeans and just a collar shirt, like it's all fine. It doesn't matter. Just put yourself together. Like pretend like you want to. Don't pretend. Want to be there and dress like you want to be. Like you're going on a date. Okay, because there was nothing worse than like, it's 3 p.m. I want to go home. I'm exhausted, and somebody comes up to me in like a hoodie and sweatpants. I'm like, oh God, here we go. Right? Like when I was younger, I used to think that was so cool. Like I used to romanticize that. Like, man, they just rolled up, like dress however the hell they want. And I get that. Like it is cool, but it's not conducive to getting a job. So just don't do it. Okay. But dressing presentably, like having your resume prepared. I'm going to come back to that one in a moment. Like having a slightly rehearsed elevator pitch that kind of touches on some of the basics of who you are. Like, what are you studying? What are you interested in? Just like basic things to stand out, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Don't come up to me expecting me to steer the conversation, right? Like to lead where this goes. Like, okay, now I'll talk about this and now we'll talk about that. Like that's your job. Okay. Because first of all, like you have less control over how you're going to be perceived if you abdicate control over the direction of the conversation from the jump. Like take control, like take ownership of the conversation and lead me, and I'll ask you the important questions as we go along. right? And the other thing is I'm just freaking tired, okay? Like, I'm tired. If you do some of the work for me and say like, oh, well, I did this, and I did that, and I'm interested in this, and I did a little bit of research about your company and think this might be cool, like blah, 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 like that makes it so much easier on me. And I can focus on whether or not you're actually a good candidate, which is the important thing, okay? And then this is a topic for a different video for sure, like, or multiple videos. But one thing I realized here was like, the resume is the close. Like, that's the close to the deal, as you would say in sales, you know? Like, you come up to me, we talk a little bit, we chit chat, is friendly, and that's like the open. And then the close is you hand me your resume. Like, I'm gonna be honest, this is probably gonna be the meanest part of the video, but if you don't have a good resume, like both in terms of formatting and content, nothing you do with a career fair is gonna save you, right? Because like, you're just gonna come up to me and we're gonna talk, and I might even like you. Like, I might be rooting for you. I said earlier, like, we're probably rooting for you. We should be rooting for you. And then you hand me the resume and there's like nothing on it. Or it's formatted terribly and like the titles are in the middle instead of on the side. Like, ridiculous stuff I saw. Topic for another video. The point is, the preparation is the closing for the deal. So don't think if you have like a crappy resume, you're gonna be able to gloss over that in the career fair, right? You know, don't question for whom the resume bell tolls. It tolls for you, okay? So yeah, so that's like lack of preparation. Like, just make sure you're prepared. And then the other thing was like a lack of identity and lack of standing out, right? And what I mean by this is like, the worst thing that students said is I would ask them, like I would presumably tell them what we do. And our organization spans like a pretty wide range of topics. And then I would say, oh, like what interests you? And you would say, oh, everything. I like all of it, right? Or I'm studying computer science, and then I ask what you're interested in. You say, I really like computer science. It's like, I would assume so. I would hope so, right? Like, that's bad because I'm trying to land you in a specific role. And I need information, hooks that I can use to hook you into a specific job. And if you don't give me any of that, I have nothing to do. Like there were so many conversations I had where I handed the resume to the recruiter, like manning the table, and I would just say like, I got nothing. Like I got nothing from the conversation. That whole 5 to 10 minutes we spent talking, I learned nothing from it. Okay, so have like a specific thing that you're interested in that you want to do. So say like, I even wrote it out. Let me just read it. I am interested in this stuff for these reasons and have done these projects or experiences to prepare me accordingly. That's it. Like that right there, like 3 things that can all be unique to you. Like combination of 3 different things. What you're interested in, why you're interested in it, and what you did. Like immediately you can stand out. And yeah, like the worst thing you can be in one of these is forgettable. And that was part of why I used to like romanticize rolling up in a hoodie. And like, I get that, but that's kind of the wrong way to be memorable. I'm talking memorable in terms of like, this guy or girl knows what they want, came here to get it, and I can fit them into these roles. And also like, I can't fit them into these other ones. Like, that's okay. It's never gonna work to just be super enthusiastic and like interested in everything. Like, that's not gonna work, okay? And almost as bad as saying that you're interested in literally everything was the approximately 1 million kids who came up to me all saying they were interested in AI and all having done the exact same 3 projects, okay? Breaking into AI is hard. I made a whole video about it when I first started the channel. Like, I get it. AI is also a cool industry. Like, I work in AI. I like it. I would recommend. But, you know, don't hear what I'm saying about picking something to be interested in and just pick AI because it's like the de facto thing right now. Because in 20 minutes, something else will be the de facto thing. And it will show, like for me, from my experience, not to tangent too hard into AI here, like I kind of stumbled into it. Like I was working on drones and autonomous vehicles. And in case you haven't noticed, AI is kind of important for that, right? So I got like sucked into AI. And so when I got experiences, like I had something that made me stand out a little bit. Like I had a slightly not traditional set of experiences, degree for AI. Like I studied aerospace engineering. I didn't study computer science. Like just stand out a little bit. Like the worst thing you can be is forgettable. Okay. yeah, that's basically everything. Okay, like this was half me trying to impart a little bit of wisdom, like allegory of the cave style, but it was also half me just trying to rant. Okay, it was a lot. I enjoyed it, like, for the record. Like, I know the title and the thumbnail is gonna be clickbaity and all that stuff, but like I did enjoy it. In case you can't tell from this channel, like I do want to help people secure the jobs and do the cool stuff that they've worked so hard to have the opportunities to do. Like, that is very, very important to me. But man, like, I did not realize how much of an operation a career fair is for both sides before having done it from both sides. Like, I learned a ton from this. And so there's going to be lots of more videos I make, like resume tips, a little more positive of a video about career fairs, like actual stuff you can do to like get better and help land the job rather than just pitfalls to avoid. Like, I have lots of stuff, lessons that I want to share with you all from this day that I spent working the career fair. But for right now, I'm gonna be real, I just had to get it off my chest. So I hope that this was useful to you. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm the Unhinged Engineer. I make career development content for people in similar positions to mine, young professionals trying to get into engineering, trying to get into technology. It's a lot, it's overwhelming, I get it. And so if you're looking for somebody who might just be a little bit further ahead of you in their career, or is just crazy enough to share what they've learned over their short career, then this is a channel for you. I'm also vlogging grad school, so I'm getting a degree in computer science this time at night, going to Georgia Tech while I continue to work my full-time job. And so if you're going to grad school and want to see somebody else suffer through it, a little schadenfreude, then this is also the channel for you. Thanks a lot for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.